How did two pilots attempt an incredible escape in a single-seat aircraft?
Hi, I'm Donovan Bixley, and these are some of the true tales behind my Flying Furballs books.
Lieutenant Frank McNamara was an Australian pilot involved in one of the most unbelievable rescues of World War I. On the 20th of March 1917, McNamara and his squadron were on a mission to drop bombs on a railway line in the desert near Gaza. Cue problem number 1. The idea of dropping bombs from aircraft was brand new, and specialist bombs hadn't been invented. Instead, McNamara and his fellow pilots were dropping modified howitzer shells from their planes. One of these shells exploded just below McNamara's aircraft, sending shrapnel shards from the bomb slicing through the bottom of the aircraft, as well as McNamara's bottom and legs. In terrible pain, McNamara turned for home, and that's when he spotted problem number 2. One of his fellow airmen, Captain Rutherford, had been forced to land with engine trouble. Worse still, from up above, McNamara could see problem number 3. Racing towards his friend was an army of enemy cavalry soldiers. Despite his wounds, McNamara landed and called his friend to climb aboard, but now they faced problem number 4, because McNamara was flying a single-seat aircraft. So Rutherford clambered onto the wing and held onto the struts, and as the enemy charged upon them, McNamara gunned the throttle for takeoff. This incredible escape attempt was the inspiration for a scene in Flying Furballs 2 Hot Air, where our heroes escape from an enemy airship in a single-seat fighter plane. As they race for the safety of home, they realise that now they're in even more danger from being shot down by their own side, because they're flying a plane with enemy markings. Believe it or not, pilots were often shot with anti-aircraft fire by their own side. One army general even called an entire squadron of fighters to attack his own planes. Talk about confused! The escape scene in Flying Furballs ends with a sudden crash, a very familiar scene in any history book on World War I aircraft, and in Flying Furballs too. Early planes were flimsy things. Sometimes the wooden framework would warp and split in the wet weather because it wasn't varnished, and the wings would fall off if you went too fast. The biggest problem was engines. Early aircraft engines were unreliable and constantly breaking down mid-air. In fact, World War I pilots joked that you weren't a real pilot until you had crashed your plane at least 3 times. Which brings us back to Lieutenant McNamara and his daring escape. Unfortunately, with McNamara's wounded leg and the extra weight of Rutherford standing on the wing, McNamara couldn't control the plane and they crashed just after takeoff. Amazingly, both airmen hobbled free from the wreck and scampered back to Rutherford's plane. Luckily, this was a 2-seater. Rutherford was able to fix the engine and the 2 friends took off, all whilst being surrounded and constantly attacked by enemy cavalry. McNamara was in terrible pain, but he managed to stay conscious for 1 hour as he flew them back to the safety of base. According to his friends, the first thing McNamara did on landing was yell out a few words, which can't be repeated here, and then he fainted. This incredible rescue earned McNamara the highest award for bravery, the Victoria Cross, the only one awarded to an Australian pilot during World War I. Crikey dingo, what a story! You just can't make this stuff up.
Join me next time for more unbelievable true tales behind the Flying Furballs books.
Get your paws on all the hair-raising Flying Furballs adventures.